Am I the asshole here if I went to a hotel with my kids because of my mother-in-law's behavior with my daughter? I hope that this is the right place to post. I apologize for asking on a short timeline. My husband and I are currently at my in-laws in Houston for the holidays. We live in Atlanta, but we are here for the holidays to see them. Just a bit of context so that my reaction doesn't seem over the top. My mother-in-law always wanted a grandson. She used to say that she was praying for one early in my pregnancy with my daughter. My husband and I didn't care, we just wanted our baby to be happy and healthy. After we had her, she kept pushing us to have another. My son is 4 months old, and my 2-year-old daughter is such a loving big sister to him. My mother-in-law's behavior to them is definitely partial. From the amount of Christmas presents she gave to the amount of time and love she gives. Now, all of these things are things that are her effort to distribute as she wishes, so I didn't say anything. But today, me and her were with my son, while my husband was cuddling with my daughter. They have a really close bond, and she's a real daddy's girl. My mother-in-law snapped at him and said to forget her for a bit and give his attention to my son, who needs it. She said it in front of my daughter, who suddenly went quiet and looked confused and hurt. My son had 2 adults with him. He didn't need my husband to turn his attention from my daughter at that time. I said as much, and she said that we're spoiling her to the detriment of our son, and that he needs it more, and we need to impress on my daughter boundaries. Again, all in front of her. I lost it. I took my son and my daughter, and I went to my husband's room, where we are staying. A few minutes later, my husband came up and apologized for his mum, hugged our daughter, and said Granny was having a bad day, but she loves you so much, so don't take it to heart, blah blah. I told him I'm seriously considering just booking a hotel for the rest of the time we're here, until Saturday. He told me that that would make things worse, and that he'll just talk to her and fix this. So he went downstairs again. But I'm still considering just going. Would that be an impulsive and asshole-ish thing to do? Thanks. Adding to this now, he told me that he impressed upon her that what she said and did would distance us from her, and that things will go smoother. He said that me leaving with the kids would make our daughter feel like she caused it, which wouldn't be right. I asked him what exactly she said. He said she understood what he was saying, but I asked him exactly what she said, and he just seemed evasive. And I've read some comments. Honestly, I'd much rather go back to Atlanta than stay in Houston at a hotel. I'll have to check how that could be done. He was asking me to bring us all back down, but I said that I wasn't ready, but he's taken our daughter out with him to make her feel better. In the comments, Mammoth Suit 9357 says, "Please keep your babies away from this woman. It will only get worse, and it could affect the relationship between the siblings. The sibling relationship is the more important one. It will last long after the grand and parents are gone. Your mother-in-law will destroy their relationship by favoring one and teaching your son that he is somehow more important than your daughter. OP and the husband should be thinking about what Granny has said and will say to the daughter when they aren't around. And worse, the daughter will think that she's not only kept those awful things secret because her dad would be upset with her otherwise, but she probably won't see that as the abuse it is. Crikey. The kids too, and she's already in for a world of hurt." Fry1 Fat Manic says, "Husband also needs to be honest about what his mother actually said. Hiding this from his wife isn't going to smooth things over." Not the asshole. What if you were not there to witness it? What would your husband do? Also, I feel like this kind of treatment will just get worse as your kids get older, unless mother-in-law will change. Your son will end up getting treated like a golden child by your mother-in-law. OP says, "I hadn't thought of what my daughter might have heard from her in my absence. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. We live far away, so there's not that much interaction, but there definitely have been times when I'm not there and it's just the two of them. It made me sick to think of." Spill That Tea to Me says, "Absolutely not. He's already started sweeping it under the rug. He told your daughter that his mother didn't mean it. She absolutely meant it. She has no shame about what she just did. The only way she might stop is if there are consequences right now. Go get that hotel, and maybe you can salvage a relationship with her. Maybe." OP says, this is going to sound like weaponized incompetence because I'm a grown woman with kids, but I don't want to have to stay in a hotel in Houston for days without him. If I go, I'm going to need him to come with us. And now onto the update. Hi, I wanted to provide an update since some of you had asked. Honestly, I was avoiding it initially because I had gone against the advice given. My daughter and husband came back last night with him showing her around the area. My daughter was happy, and my husband said he had made it clear to his mum that the favoritism wouldn't stand. So I chose to stay. This morning, my mother-in-law was extra sweet to my daughter, showing her stuff around the house and kitchen. It seemed a bit fake syrupy sweetness to me, but I thought it was okay. Maybe I'm cynical. She's trying, and my daughter can't tell, so it's all good. And the morning went fine. But after lunch, when we were in the living room, she was telling my daughter her responsibilities as an older sister, that her brother is a baby and is younger than her, and she needs to now be a big girl and make sure he's happy. It maybe doesn't sound bad in words, but the tone was one of a lecture. So I just said Jazzy is a baby too, and tickled her to make her laugh, and just kind of put her at ease and diffuse the tension of the lecture. At this, my mother-in-law said that she's just fulfilling her right and responsibility by educating my daughter, that she's her dad's mum. She's earned the right to educate her grandkids. Again, in front of her. That was it for me. Maybe in isolation it wouldn't have, but considering yesterday, I told my daughter that we'll play with her toys in the room and took her and my son up. I called my husband and I told him what had happened. He kept asking how she said it and the setting, and I was just like, I planned to give her an honest chance this morning, otherwise I would have done all of this yesterday, and to trust me when I'm saying that she crossed a line. I told him I'm changing our flights to catch the earliest one out. I need him to come with us, or he has to tell our daughter why Daddy isn't coming back home with us. He said he'll come too and sort out the flight. I told him that I just wanted the earliest one whenever it is, and I told him to come back, as he is out with his friends today. He told me later that we fly out early tomorrow morning now, and last flight today was like 2 hours from our call, so it wouldn't be enough time and he'll be here soon. I'm just packing up our stuff now. I went downstairs a few times to grab some of our stuff. She tried talking to me, telling me to calm down, and I just told her that he'll talk to her when he comes. I should have listened and just done this yesterday. I deserve any incoming criticism. I'm so angry with myself too. My daughter has had to be in an uncomfortable position twice rather than once because of that, and we could have celebrated New Year's Eve in Atlanta instead of here. Thank you all for the advice. I appreciate it so much. Final update. We're at the airport now waiting for boarding. I thought I'd give my last update now since I'm going to be really tired back at home. When my husband spoke to her, I have to admit that I eavesdropped. I don't know if that makes me an asshole, but it is what it is. It concerned my daughter, so I felt like it was okay for me to do it, and if it was super private, then they shouldn't have been doing it in the living room. He was really disappointed with his mum, saying that they'd gone over this yesterday and that she had given him her word to drop the favoritism. She denied any favoritism and said I was overreacting and just looking for an excuse to go. Never mind that if that were the case, I would have done this yesterday, or 2 days ago now since it's past midnight. She also said that if I was the one with the problem, why does everyone have to go? She came up to say goodbye to us before she went to sleep. To her credit, she didn't make a scene in front of my daughter and said her goodbyes to us. She was obviously cold with me, but I mean, that's to be expected. Thanks again for all the help and a happy 2026. In the comments, Hopeful Eeyore says, rooting for you. I think you've done great in a really difficult situation, and also I think you're a great mum. OP says, thank you. That means a lot to me. Desiree Times says, and we're not going to criticize you. We advised you to do a hard thing. It's understandable that you chose to give it another shot, but now you know. Mother-in-law can't be trusted. Your husband needs to support you. Hope for the best for your kids. It's easy for strangers on the internet to tell you to just leave or just tell the person off, but in practice, it's more difficult. Well done for getting the flight and getting out of there. Travel safe. And good job to Hubs for not dismissing OP and saying "I'll come later" while staying with his parents or rejecting anyone leaving early. Good stuff, OP. I think you did the right thing and you had more than enough patience for your mother-in-law's bullshit. Because her repeatedly correcting, lecturing, and then emotionally burdening a 2-year-old in front of you after being explicitly told, "Don't fucking do that shit," is completely unacceptable. You reiterated your boundaries multiple times, and she said, "Damn, I don't care about any of that." She sounds like a controlling, terrible woman to spend time with, who obviously doesn't care about the well-being of anyone in your family if she's so brazen in her bullshit. So she really left you with no choice but to leave. This is her fault, and I will say props to your husband for stepping up and leaving with you. Like the comments have said, I'm glad he's on your side. Because if he did stay, he would have taught your daughter that her feelings are negotiable and that he actually has his mum's side in these things. Both of you have shown good parenting, even if it took your husband a bit to get there, even if he made mistakes where he's like, well, you know, I'm not going to say exactly what she said. I'm going to be on her side a little bit here. Hopefully you can deprogram him a bit. Not the asshole. Our next post is by user MeanConference7340, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for refusing to cook for my family's Christmas event? I, 15 female, really like baking and cooking food. Most of the time I'm making everyone little treats to try, or I'm cooking dinner for my family from our background, and it's sort of my love language. Often I'll bring food to family events because my aunts and uncles are busy all the time and have little time to make food before they host parties and stuff, and because I'm not working yet, I have more time to make all this fun stuff. So on Christmas, we typically open presents at home and then all have a lunch and/or dinner at someone's house. But this year, my mum said that we wouldn't all be together. I was a bit upset, but I was alright, 'cause that's fine with me. And then my aunt calls me and asks if I've thought of what food I'm making for Christmas night. I asked what she meant, and she told me she's having a party, and my mum promised I would make food for everyone. I didn't really have a problem with that, 'cause as I said, I love cooking, and it was early notice. So I was like, oh, I'll get ready at this time, and then I'll have time to make the food. So she asked why I'd be getting ready. She said that it's an adult party, but then I asked for more info, and she mentioned cousins my age were going, so I was kind of upset and asked why I was the only one not going. She said my mum thinks I'm not mature enough for a late party. I told her that it honestly just sounded like an excuse. Then I hung up. I went to my mum, and she didn't see a problem with me not going. But I told her that there's no way I'm putting effort into that if I'm being excluded. I started crying at that point, and it made my mum angry, and she said I was being selfish and acting like a child. I kept pressing for a proper reason, but my mum kept saying, I don't want you going, and I'm your mother, so that's that. My tone was very rude by this point because I was on the verge of tears, and my mum said if I don't make the food, they'll have to order food and I'll inconvenience everyone. I said, then order it, and ended the conversation. I called my dad, and he's saying he'll come down to where I live and we can drive up to his for Christmas so that I can be with family that wants me there. So even if I wanted to help, now I will be a 2-hour drive away. But basically, they have no food plans for the party now. I suggested local chicken shops that do delivery, or even buying frozen food from the shops, but they said they don't want to do that. While they didn't want me there, I know everyone was counting on me for food, and now from their perspective, I'm saying no and being selfish because I wanted to spend Christmas with Dad, and I'm usually the one to try to see both sides, but this is really difficult. Because of course I'm biased, and my feelings are hurt, so outside perspective would be nice. Thank you for any feedback. P.S. Sorry if this is confusing. Please feel free to ask like extra things that I didn't mention. I'm incredibly tired right now and may have left some details out. In the comments, Struct Engineer 91 says, not the asshole. I'm very glad that your dad at least is there for you and actually wants to spend Christmas with you. I'm assuming your parents are divorced. Who has primary custody? Or is it split 50-50? Could you talk to your dad about staying with him, since it seems like your mum doesn't want you around? OP says, yes, they're divorced and have been for a little bit of 5-ish years. Most of the time it's 50-50, but my dad got a promotion at work, and so he works more often and just lets me stay at my mum's when he's extra busy. But he does say even if he is at work, I'm always welcome at his house, so I think he wouldn't mind if I was there all the time. Hokey Pokey 59 says, just curious, are the cousins your age that are attending male or female? OP says, all guys. Struct Engineer 91 asks again, has your mum done other things like this recently? Basically using you for her own gain. OP says, not that I've noticed or had a problem with. She often volunteers me to be the one making food or babysitting and things like that during family events, but at least I'm usually invited to those ones. Anyway, there's not much other situations that really bothered me or made me upset that I can think off the top of my head. Cute Pangolin 146 says, your family sounds like they might be of an ethnic background that has different values. If not, then they are real assholes. Good for you for standing your ground. Merry Christmas anyway. OP says, we have a Balkan background, but it's not the case where this is sort of a custom. Also, I think there's more Australian-born than actual European-born in my family by now. Merry Christmas to you. And now, on to the update. Hi guys, I had comments and PMs asking for an update, so here it is quickly. The next part is also fluff and random stuff about fun things from my Christmas, so feel free to skip. I separated it to hopefully make it easier to read. I hope everyone had an awesome Christmas. Feel free to chat in the comments about what you guys got. I love talking about the holidays. I, for one, got a vintage car from my dad, which was insane, and I started crying. When I say crying, I mean I was bawling my eyes out. For anyone who knows cars, it's a Ford Falcon XY. I can't drive yet, but all I talk about is cooking and cars. He said that I can have it for the collection, until I can start driving it around, and insinuated that I can have even more cars when he frees up his storage shed near his work. I couldn't not cry, I was so insanely excited. By far my best Christmas. I took a lot of comments into account with advice, and also the nice messages as well, so I was feeling confident in my decisions. So yes, I did end up spending Christmas with my dad. I was at home, and my mum was at work on Christmas Eve. He drove for hours and picked me up. I left Mum a little message letting her know that I was with Dad. My message was followed up by 34 messages of her just telling me that I'm the worst daughter ever, basically. She didn't say those exact words, but I blocked her and removed the conversation. But she was basically saying how dare I leave without telling her, how dare I spend Christmas with not my family. Then it was a spam of messages telling me she was going to smash my things and she better not see me at New Year's because she's furious and doesn't want to look at my face. I'll copy and paste from my notes the message I wrote back. I look forward to my Christmas with Dad's side, who were happy to see me. And guess what? I don't even have to cook for them. They aren't relying on a teenager to feed 30 people. They are ordering food like normal people. Like people who actually care about the people around them. Mum, I don't know what your problem was, but that whole situation hurt so bad, and you are the one person who was meant to be on my side, if no one at all. I will see you after New Year's, and maybe we can talk. My dad helped me write it out. She kept messaging, but then I blocked her so I'd stopped getting spammed and cried a little bit, but then I felt better. Me and Dad got to the house, and you guys, along with the car, there were so many presents. I've never seen such a crowded Christmas tree in my life. Like, I was ecstatic. I felt like a toddler in a toy shop. Christmas was overall so nice. My dad's girlfriend is very sweet, and her son is really funny, and he's one of those people that you can tell are gonna make a cool uncle one day, if that makes sense. I saw some comments suggesting making food and posting it to piss off my mum. My dad had the exact same idea and laughed when I told him my friends had said that also. It was you guys, but I think if he knows I posted it, he'll be angry a little bit, but it's okay. So I did end up baking, but it was with my dad's girlfriend. Her name is Annie. She looks a lot like Jennifer Aniston. We made the classic Christmas trifle, Aussies know, and BestOf cheesecake, which literally had me foaming at the mouth. She also likes baking and bought me a really cool cookbook with fun, difficult recipes to try. I posted them on Facebook, and my dad's girlfriend posted some to her Instagram that my aunt stalks with a photo of me pretending to lick the cakes and stuff. It was a fun little photo shoot more than anything. I say all these nice things so yous know my Christmas was really good, even with what I'm about to say happened during/after. So my aunt decides to post a long message on Facebook complaining about not having me there, saying I abandoned the family, then started talking bad about my dad, calling him names. I reported the post and then called her and basically told her to take it down if she wants to speak to me ever again and to not talk bad on the one person that actually wanted me for Christmas. And he did 10 times more than she was willing to give me with support and all this other stuff. I was kind of spewing words because I was upset. I don't care about her Facebook friends talking shit about me, but my dad deserved better than that. She didn't say anything, she just hung up, and 20 minutes later, it was deleted. A lot of family members continued to message me to yell at me. My dad said to just block them and enjoy Christmas, but then came the spam calling. I did sort of have a panic attack at Christmas dinner, so he had to calm me down and take my phone for a bit until all of the notifications stopped. They only stopped at midnight when I guess everyone was tired of it. I think it's safe to say that I'm going to live with my dad full time. I'm upset and nervous because school and everything is down with my mum, but hopefully if I can't live with dad, I can stick out 4 years at mum's, and when I get my full driver's license, I can be at my dad's whenever I'm not at school. Thanks for reading my word vomit. Happy holidays and New Year's to everybody. In the comments, Inevitable Entry 6518 says, "It wasn't wise to remove your mum's messages. You might need them if Child Protective Services are involved, and it's highly likely they will be, because it's definitely child abuse. Living with your mum won't be easy from now on, because you've put your foot down and abusers hate it. Your adulthood is very soon. It will be better then. Good luck." OP says, "Thank you. I recovered the messages after seeing some of the comments and screen recorded it all with her number in it as well." Meringue number 1899 says, "My stepfather had a vintage Falcon that he had restored. It's a really cute car." OP says, "I love mine so much. Glad my dad was able to even find one." I completely understand that this story is that of a child abuse and a family culture that has perpetuated it, but man, it just really hurts to read all the same. And I hate that they are infantilizing her and saying that she can't be treated like an adult because she's not there yet. But of course, classic dickhead style, instead of doing the work to have her slowly become someone that they can feel like they are on equal footing with, that is an adult. Instead of that, how about we just constantly keep her in a childlike state so that we can demand as much work out of her as possible and never give her the chance to be treated as an equal. People that do that are the fucking worst. And it's obviously just a sexism thing. You know, the male cousins are all good and they're all adults, but the female cousin, fuck no. That in particular grinds my gears, but everything else, especially the threatening to smash your belongings and then having everyone all come together to bombard you with hate, that's next level. That's completely unacceptable, and I wouldn't be surprised if you just straight up went with your dad to the family court and was like, "I don't want her having custody anymore. I don't feel safe with her and whatever community she calls family around her." And it sucks that in a reality like that, you'd have to uproot yourself from your school and friend support systems. But I feel like this would be an exceptional case for me where I'm like, you are being threatened with physical assault by your mother if you stay living down there going to that school. The alternative is a 2-hour commute. I don't know, maybe we just get you to a new school until you graduate, and then you can reconnect with your friends afterwards, considering the circumstances. That's how I envision this going, but I'm guessing that's not the plan. Otherwise, thank you for the story and thank you for the update, OP. Am I the asshole here for refusing to help my parents care for my son who they adopted? I am an oops baby. My folks had me when they were in their early 40s. I got pregnant when I was in university. I probably can't write here why I didn't want it. I wanted to not be pregnant, but my parents said that they would cut off all aid to me if I did that, so I carried it to term. Then I wanted to put the child up for adoption or drop him at a fire station or something. I was not in a good place. My parents insisted on adopting him, so he is legally my brother. I do not hate him, but he's a reminder of something terrible that happened to me. I now go back home as little as possible, maybe 2 days a year. I have graduated, and I have a life far away from my parents. My brother is 12 now, and he is not well behaved. My parents are now in their 70s and are having a shitty retirement. They have to dedicate all of their time to him. They can't take the vacations they planned. They won't downsize to a condo, so they still have yard work and stuff that he will not help with. None of my actual siblings will watch him to give them a break. They reached out to me for help. I said no. I said he is their son and their responsibility. They think I'm being cruel for forcing them to do everything after they helped me so much. It took everything I had in me not to curse them out. Some of my relatives have reached out to me to see why I refused to help fix the mess that I made. Them I curse out and block. None of them helped me when I was pregnant against my will. The biological father is on the registry and cannot be near kids before you ask. In the comments, not the asshole, but I'd change my tactic when the hassle comes. I'd have a typed out response ready to cut and paste in. Remind everyone that you did not want this pregnancy. Forced. You did not want to keep this child. Forced. And for the 3rd time, you will not be forced to do anything. Your parents made a choice, and they have to live with the consequences. Just like they made you live with the consequences of their forced choices. Cursing and blocking doesn't get your side of the story out, and people conveniently forget what actually happened back 12 years ago. Ask Gardens replies 1. This. Pre-planned responses. 2. Also, next time they reach out, let them know that they've just volunteered to help out. And 3. Keep track of who pressures you, and tell your parents who's interested in helping out next time they ask you. So they adopted him thinking that you'd come around and eventually be the mother? I think there's a good likelihood of this. Well, they fucked up and now have to live with the consequences they helped create when OP constantly, during and after pregnancy, said that she wanted nothing to do with that kid ever due to terrible bio-related and circumstances. OP wanted nothing to do with the piece of shit that hurt her. They made her give birth to piece of shit's child, and they legally adopted him when she wanted to adopt him out elsewhere away from her. Thus, that is their piece of shit child that they both raise in their own hands, not OP's. Dramatic Reach says, "Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I'm doubly pissed what your parents made you endure against your will. Your parents adopted and raised your brother to be the little lazy-ass tyrant he is, probably feeling sorry for him, and now they're having to deal with what they have sown. You're not the asshole. This is your brother, and from your description, you do not live close enough to your parents to provide help even if you wanted. It's time for your siblings to step up, and the next time they mention this is your mess, remind them that you were the victim 3 times over. By your assailant, by your parents who threatened to stop funding your college education if you chose to terminate or use the safe haven law, and then by your parents again by adopting the child, making it too emotionally traumatic to return home. As a psychiatrist who works with traumatized adults, I sincerely hope that you've sought counseling, and I would encourage giving low to absolute no contact with your siblings just to help lessen your trauma." And OP replies, "Thank you. I am in therapy and have been for a long time. First at my college, and then through a victims fund, and now on my own. I am not okay yet. I'll probably never be okay with what happened, but I am getting better. What you survived is primarily a nervous system injury. This is why the symptoms are so persistent and pervasive. You can definitely get better. I will say, neurobiology is far ahead in understanding trauma and effective treatments. Start researching. Therapy is important support. Nervous system treatments are curative. And now, on to the update. Thank you guys for finally giving me the motivation to tell my story to my family and to cut ties with my parents. I did as many of you suggested, and I wrote everything out. Bo explained that I had been violently assaulted and essayed, that my parents, who were my only support, told me that they would be kicking me out, stopped paying for my education, and removing me from their health insurance if I took Plan B. I further explained that when I found out I was pregnant from the essay, they once again coerced me the same way into carrying the fetus to term, and how they insisted on adopting him after I stated that I never wanted to see him again. I wanted him put up for a closed adoption, but they would not relent. I then added pictures of me from the hospital. Blood, bruises, missing teeth, shattered face, everything. I included a recent picture of myself with my orbital prosthesis removed so everyone could see the permanent damage. I posted everything onto the family group chat. I included that I would now consider the matter closed and have decided to completely cut myself off from all of them. It was my New Year's gift to myself and my mental health. I've received messages and emails from family members using unknown numbers and emails to tell me that they didn't know about all of this and that they are sorry. I blocked the news sources. I'm just done. I honestly have not had the strength to do this until you guys gave it to me. Thank you. In the comments, Jesus Christ, that poor woman, that poor boy. Just heartbreaking. Yeah, this one disturbed me to read. I have a pretty high tolerance for fantasy or sci-fi violence and complicated plots of the same, but people being awful in real life and things like this happening to real people, it just makes my stomach turn. My sympathy to the both of them. I read this too, and I was so nauseous that I had to click away. And everyone who has the audacity to yell AI can go fuck themselves silly. This happened and happens to countless women every day in every given place in the world. There are no words to lessen the trauma, the suffering, and the ongoing pain that these women go through. I can only hope that there will be at least one person in their life that will hold and comfort them. I am so sorry. Dr. Spiders says, they wanted this new baby at the expense of their daughter. They were willing to make their essayed and battered child homeless over this. They can reap what they sowed. I suspect part of it is that they thought that she would get over it and take over parenting at some point, that her maternal instinct would just kick into gear. I feel badly for both OP and the 12-year-old. They deserve better. I couldn't agree more. I will always say this, I read these stories for awareness, and so that those that might be experiencing similar know that they are not alone. OP, your parents did the worst thing possible to you here. They might say, oh yeah, they were helping you so much, but no, they were just controlling you. And your family as well, when they said that this was a mess you made, was some revisionist nonsense. I know that they didn't have the full story, but now that you've given them the truth and the receipts, and you're choosing your mental health over all of those people, I think it's better that you do move on from it for your own sake. At this point, it sounds like blocking them is, self-preservation. You are doing what you need to do to protect yourself. This situation is entirely on your parents. They chose to adopt. They chose to raise that child. The responsibility for that child is entirely theirs, full stop. You don't owe them or that child anything. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for having the courage to tell the rest of your family the full story. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.